Yo, what's up everybody? Eyecee here and welcome to another NBA regular season video. This one is for October 23rd's 11 game slate, the one we've all been waiting for, the big one. So, to all the new people to my channel, the way I usually do this is I go through each game one at a time. I talk about my favorite plays in general. I go over some of my preseason data to really just highlight some of the players that stood out to me, some of the value players that I think will be getting extended run in the regular season, and just some of my favorite players in general. After I do that for each team, I will come back here and I'll go through each position by position, and I will make a dummy lineup and just give you guys an idea of how I think and come up with my lineups. If you want to just see that and you're not really interested in my whole preseason data, and I'm going to go through each team one at a time. If you're not interested in all that, feel free to skip to the end of the video. I will put a timestamp at the bottom, so feel free to do that. To all the people that subscribed to my channel last week and are just my followers, thank you guys for following me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. It means a lot. It really helps me stay motivated and stuff. So hopefully I helped you guys this week. I was really high on Fred VanVleet, Siakam, the Raptors, and New Orleans game in general. As I said, it would be the more competitive game. So hopefully that helped you guys. Hopefully you guys are all making money right now, and hopefully we can have a successful NBA season. So let's get into this slate. We have a lot to cover. So I'm just going to start with the Cleveland Cavaliers side and be very, very upfront. I don't really like anybody on this Cavaliers side. Larry Nance would probably be the only guy I'd be looking at 5K. A lot of these guys here at this price are pretty fairly priced, but their matchup with Orlando is terrible. Orlando's like a well-oiled machine right now. They got about 6 preseason games in, and they were pretty much playing what their starting players, their main team. The random bench guys barely got any run. And a lot of their main guys got to see at least 20 minutes per game on every single night. So Orlando, in my opinion, is a very well-oiled machine, and Cleveland Cavaliers are a very shit team that are in for a very rough opening night. But Larry Nance is someone at 5K that I wouldn't mind playing. He's someone that does a lot. He has a competitive nature, competitive fire, spark, whatever you want to call it. And although Orlando plays at a slower tempo, slower pace, Larry Nance, someone that's going to be coming off the bench to provide a spark. Kevin Love, I don't really like at that price. He is Kevin Love, but they're not really going to risk Kevin Love all that much after they're getting blown out and all that. Jordan Clarkson and Sexton, guard Sexton starts. He's 1,000 more than Clarkson. He had a better preseason, but both of these guys are very, very shot dependent. If their shot isn't falling, then they're not going to really hit value for you. Tristan Thompson's another guy that I would consider looking at. 5,700 is not bad for him. He's going to be playing a lot of minutes, going to be starting, and he's someone that if he's having like a good game, he's definitely someone that can hit value for you. He was one of the better performers on the Cavaliers during this preseason run, so there's that. Darius Garland should be seeing some minutes, but not enough to get me interested. So we're just going to move along. On the Orlando Magic side, as I said, these guys played 6 preseason games. They're like a well-oiled machine. They're ready to go. They're going to whoop the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jonathan Isaac at 6,100 is a great price player. He should be seeing around 30 minutes in my opinion. Aaron Gordon as well, 6,400 is very cheap for him. He is a hit-or-miss guy. He had 2 really good preseason games, and then he had 2 duddy ones. Vucevic, if he's going to see around his 30 minutes for sure, always in play. Terrence Ross at 5K, if his price is falling, he's definitely in play. He was having a good preseason. In 18.6 minutes, he was averaging 22.4 DraftKings points, 14 real points. He takes a lot of shots. He comes off the bench, so he's not scared to shoot the ball. And he was taking a lot of 3-point attempts. So if his 3 ball is falling, then he could easily smash value. Mo Bamba is another guy that at 3,800 I would consider. He did see a lot of run in preseason, and I expect that to continue during the regular season. He should be one of the first guys off the bench on any given night. So his price point at 3,800 is something that interests me. Other than that, DJ Augustine and Evan Fournier, both of these guys are starting, and they're pretty cheap in my opinion, but they are very shooting dependent. And honestly, I think Jonathan Isaac, Aragorn, and Vucevic get it done here. This is not going to be a competitive matchup. Not everyone's really going to get to eat here. But if I had to pick my favorite plays, it would be the three guys that are starting that have the most upside. Another honorable mention is Michael Carter-Williams, who should be seeing a lot of minutes in this Orlando Magic offense. The coach loves him. He's probably the best defender the Magic have, so he's going to be on the court a lot. So 3,300 for Michael Carter-Williams, someone that has a lot of upside that could get hot and start scoring as well as assisting and rebounding and stealing. He does a lot of everything. He does a little bit of everything. If he's hot and he's getting minutes, then he can easily smash value at 3,300. Even at 18 minutes, he's a good play here in my opinion. He's someone that I wouldn't mind punting, and if this game's a blowout, he could see extended run. Him and Markelle Fultz, and that Markelle Fultz, another story, man. But Markelle Fultz also is coming off of a strong preseason. I don't really think he sees that much run here unless it is a blowout. He is also very scoring dependent at this point, but he's also someone that can facilitate the offense. However, I'd be very much more comfortable with Michael Carter-Williams, knowing that he is someone that comes off the bench and someone that's going to be playing a key part for the Magic going forward. So someone that should be getting more minutes as the season progresses. So he's probably one of my more safer cheap plays. Moving on to the Detroit Pistons versus the Indiana Pacers. These guys are gonna be having a lot of shitty games against each other. But starting with the Detroit Pistons, Andre Drummond at 8,400, in my opinion, is a very, very safe play here. Miles Turner, Sabonis should give him some work, but Drummond just outsizes them. He's a rebounding machine. So there's that. There's no Blake Griffin, so they're going to need Drummond even more. His usage is going to be up. And Drummond just lost a little bit more weight now. He's a little bit more lean. He's been working on his free throw percentage. He's been working on not getting into foul trouble. So Drummond's someone I could look to tomorrow to really shore up my lineups. He's probably going to be one of the go-to guys for me. 8,400 is a fair price for Drummond. He's someone that routinely smashes value, real double-double upside every time he's on the court. As you can see, even in preseason, in 23 minutes, he was averaging 10 rebounds, 14 points. With Blake Griffin out, Luke Kennard's also out, I should add. Both Derek Wood and Christian Wood are two guys that entice me. Christian Wood at 4,800, it's kind of steep. I don't know how many minutes he gets here, but again, Blake Griffin is out. However, they were playing a lot of Tony Snell, Bruce Brown Jr., and both of these guys are cheaper. They probably will see the floor before Christian Wood, so those are the two guys I would also consider. Markieff Morris at 3,600 is too damn cheap. He's definitely going to be getting a shit ton of minutes if he's playing. As it stands, he's questionable, so keep an eye on the news for Markieff Morris. If Markieff Morris is in the starting lineups, I project 26 minutes upwards. At 3,600, he should be a lock for me. Moving on to the Indiana Pacers. A lot of these guys are very fairly priced, and Indiana, in all honesty, has a good bench mob. The starting lineup here should be Malcolm Brogdon, TJ Warren, Jeremy Lamb, Sabonis, and Miles Turner. They finally started playing Sabonis and Miles Turner. Last year they were very reluctant to do so, but I guess Nate McMillan finally grew some balls and decided to play these guys together. Sabonis is probably the guy that's going to be the most productive on this Pacers team tomorrow. However, Miles Turner is cheaper and also has a lot of upside. They're going to need him against Drummond. It's going to be a tough matchup for him, but he's done well against Drummond in the past. He's very competitive, and he has a lot of good block upside. Even in preseason, he got 3.5 blocks per game. So he's already blocking people in preseason, man. Like, this guy is ready to go, right? So tomorrow should be a good matchup for him. He'll have a lot of opportunity to get blocks tomorrow. So 6,300 is a pretty fair price for him. Pretty safe in my opinion. This game shouldn't get too out of hand. Even though Indiana is the better team with the absentees for the Pistons, but this game should be relatively close. Jeremy Lamb's another guy I like, but 5,800, there's other guys we could probably go to. TJ Warren, very scoring dependent, a new addition. But Malcolm Brogdon is probably someone I would consider too, 6,500. He should be seeing more minutes. He has a lot of upside. He assists, he scores, he's very efficient. So Malcolm Brogdon, someone that the Indiana Pacers just recently brought in from the Bucks. He had an okay preseason. By his standards, it wasn't anything too great, but it was preseason, and they were pretty much playing everybody around 20 to 24 minutes just to get a feel for everybody and everybody to get a feel for each other. But now that the regular season starts, look for Malcolm Brogdon to really kick it into another gear. I like his price here. And an honorable mention I thought I should mention is Doug McBuckets here, Doug McDermott. Cheap play here, 3,200. Should definitely see the floor in the backup capacity. One of the first guys off the bench for these guys. So he's someone that I just thought I'd mention. If he gets hot, he gets hot. And he could win you a GPP. I mean that seriously. Okay, next game is the Chicago Bulls versus the Charlotte Hornets. Both of these teams are one of the worst teams in the league. It's essentially the battle of the bums. However, the Hornets are bigger bums. Chicago still has some respectable players like Levine and Otto Porter and Markkanen and Thaddeus Young. The Hornets have a bunch of young, wild bucks. So, starting with the Chicago Bulls, Kobe White, their new rookie, really great player. Everybody loves this kid. He's very hot, not scared to shoot the ball. He shot the ball 15.4 times in 26 minutes per game played in the preseason. He was averaging 19 real points in the preseason. 4,200 is too damn cheap. This kid is definitely going to be one of the first guys off the bench for these guys. Chris Dunn's lost the starting point guard spot to Thomas Satoransky. Thomas Satoransky should be seeing around 28 minutes here at 5,300. The matchup he has here with the Charlotte Hornets, it should be a very fast pace. I really like Thomas Satoransky. Another guy that I didn't highlight that I probably should have highlighted is Otto Porter at 5,800. He should be seeing around 28 minutes as well. There should be a lot of rebounding upside for Otto Porter here. He should be motivated now that the season started and the games mean something. It's the battle of the bums, so essentially these guys still don't want to lose to the Hornets. They have Levine, Porter, Thaddeus Young, Markkanen. These guys are somewhat competitive players, and they all want to make the playoffs. They're tired of, scraping at the bottom here. And it's the start of the season. It's a new opportunity for them, so they're going to be motivated. So they're going to come out here and play hard. They're not going to, lay over for the Hornets here. This should be a pretty good competitive game, fast-paced game, probably one of the highest-scoring games of the night. A lot of players to look at here, but Kobe White for sure is someone I'm looking at, 4,200. Satoransky as well. And then Levine, Otto Porter, Markkanen. I like all three of them, but if I had to choose one, Otto Porter would be my favorite. There's other guys I would like at the 7,800 price point for both Levine and Markkanen. But Otto Porter, 5,800, I do not mind that at all. And then we got to figure out what Thaddeus Young's doing here. They didn't really use him in the preseason because they didn't really have to. They also did play a lot of shitty teams in the preseason, like New York and New Orleans and shit. So Thaddeus Young wasn't all that used. But in the regular season, he should be seeing a little bit more minutes. Chris Dunn, I think he sees around this many minutes still. He's still going to be coming off the bench, and playing meaningful minutes, but I don't know about his production. 4K, I don't know. He could easily hit value at 4K. He was still hitting value in 23 minutes play at 4K in a preseason, so you should see it around 25, 26 minutes maybe, but not someone I'm too high on. Moving on, Charlotte Hornets. Rozier, Bacon, Miles Bridges, Devontae Graham, PJ Washington. That's pretty much the starting lineup, or probably Cody Zeller is going to be in the starting lineup. But those five guys, or four guys I just mentioned, five guys: Terry Rozier, Bacon, PJ Washington, Devontae Graham, Miles Bridges. All of these guys on any given night can randomly go off and just destroy the slate. Terry Rozier at this price, however, is probably my least favorite. My favorite would be Devontae Graham at 3,400. He's been seeing a lot of minutes in preseason. He should be seeing a lot of minutes in the regular season. He performed very well in the preseason. The coach had very kind words to say about him, and I expect him to continue playing in the regular season. PJ Washington, another guy, played really, really well in the preseason. Should definitely be playing in the regular season. 5,500 is a little steep, but he has a lot of upside. He does a little bit of everything. He's in your face, competitive, matchup against Chicago, the tempo, the pace, great spot for him. He has rebounding upside too, so he's going to be grabbing a lot of those missed shots from the Bulls and from his own team. So he's someone I really like as well. And then Rozier can get really, really hot, very competitive player as well. He also assists, steal, rebounds, a little bit of everything. Dwayne Bacon, same shit. But man, the Hornets are going to be a mess this year. They have a lot of guys that all do the same shit pretty much. They all play similar positions. A lot of small forward shooting guards. Yeah, it's a mess. But yeah, those 5 guys, Rozier, Bacon, Washington, Graham, Miles Bridges, are the guys I'd probably be safest playing. Nicholas Batum has been cleared to play, but he barely played in the preseason. They held him out for 3 games. I don't really see a room for Nicholas Batum on this team anymore. He's kind of been bad the last few months of play. Like from last year towards the end of last year, he was terrible, and it's just, I don't really see that changing anymore. They just have too much young talent. They rather nurture the young talent than waste it on Batum. Alright, next game we got here is the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Brooklyn Nets. Another good game in my opinion. Should be a high-scoring, fast-paced game. However, the Nets just have a lot more talent in my opinion. Karl-Anthony Towns starting with the Timberwolves. Karl-Anthony Towns definitely in play. 10,000 is a great price for him. He's someone that could get 60, 70 DraftKings points. He was doing it in preseason in 21 minutes, so he's going to be seeing 30 minutes now. So he's really a safe bet to go with tomorrow or tonight. Jarrett Culver is one of the standout performers for the preseason for me. This guy was just killing it, and at 4,100 definitely should be in price. Andrew Wiggins, I'm not too keen on Andrew Wiggins, 5,700. The price is alright, but I don't like Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is pretty bad. He's too scoring dependent, and he has to be motivated to do good. He's probably going to be motivated playing against the Brooklyn Nets and on opening night. So there's that, but there's also a lot of other plays at this price that I would rather go to. So Karl-Anthony Towns, Jarrett Culver are 2 guys I really like. And then Robert Covington and Jeff Teague are 2 other guys I'd be looking at on this team. Robert Covington got really hot the last 2 preseason games. He really stepped it up and just smashed it. Jeff Teague has been steady and consistent. He's kind of been like that through our fantasy the last 2 years. I expect that to continue, especially now that Derrick Rose and Tyus Jones are gone, and it's really his point guard spot. It's secure, it's safe. So I look for Jeff Teague to just go out there and perform. 5,600 is not a bad price for him in this matchup. And then now onto the Brooklyn Nets side. There's a lot of players I like on this side. Taurean Prince at 4,400 is very cheap in my opinion. Dazan Musa is someone that was playing a lot in preseason and someone that should be getting a lot of run as the season progresses. This team is very high on him. They love this kid. And why not? He's going out there shooting 9 shots attempts per game in 18 minutes played. Not bad overall. 3K minimum price. He could hit value very easily. Someone that's a little bit of a riskier GPP play, I'd say, but someone I'd be playing in a few lineups here and there in GPP for sure because of his upside. And then Karis LeVert, they finally priced him up 6,800 in preseason. He was so cheap. He was like a lock every time. Spencer Dinwiddie at 5,400 is a good price. I don't mind that. Same with Jared Allen, 5,300. I don't mind that. But DeAndre Jordan at 5,300, I kind of like him. I like the matchup. They're going to need his size and strength against Karl-Anthony Towns. Jared Allen too, but DeAndre Jordan should match up well here. And I think finally DeAndre Jordan can muster up his energy and be motivated to play an NBA game again, because now that he's on somewhat of a contender, he can be happy again and go out there and perform and try hard. So DeAndre Jordan is someone I like. Karooks is someone that's been getting minutes. Irving at this price, 8,900. I'd stay away from Irving. He only played 2 games and limited minutes at that. I don't know how much in form he is. It is Kyrie Irving, but I think he needs a couple of games before I feel comfortable playing Kyrie Irving, especially at that price. I'd rather go with some other guys with a lot more upside and better matchups. Not that the matchup's bad here, but it's just Kyrie's not. I'm not really comfortable playing Kyrie right now for whatever reason. My gut's not comfortable. All right, Memphis Grizzlies, one of my favorite teams to watch in the preseason. Ja Morant, 6,600. The amount of usage this kid's gonna be seeing this whole season is ridiculous. Hopefully, you guys picked him in your season-long fantasy teams. Very good young player, should be getting better as the season progresses, no doubt. I saw a lot of good things from him. He's definitely in play for me, 6,600. The amount, as I said, the ball is going to be in his hand. A lot of things are going to be going through him. So he's someone that's definitely in play for me. The matchup against Miami is a little bit tougher, but it's Miami, man. They're not that great. They're overrated, if anything, defensively. But John Moran, if his shot's falling, he's someone that's going to get assists for sure. He's going to get rebounds. He's going to fight for the ball. He's going to be very, very competitive. The pace of this game should be fairly high, too. It should be a competitive game because Memphis has a lot of young talent and a lot of size, and that'll cause some problems for Miami if they don't really take it seriously, which they probably won't. They're also still testing and tinkering out their lineups, so I expect a lot of opportunities for the leads to fall in each other team's hands as the game progresses. So John Moran, someone I definitely like. Jay Crowder's another guy I really like at 4,600. He's one of the vets on this team, and he's someone that just goes out there and does what's needed to win. He could go out there and rebound, assist, whatever it is. He'll go out there and put up some buckets. So he's going to see around 28 minutes. At this price, I do not mind him at all. And then some other guys that I'd be looking at is Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson Jr. Both these guys have a lot of upside. Brandon Clark is pretty cheap in my opinion, 3,800. He's probably going to be coming off the bench in most cases. But they do also have Bruno Caboclo to look at, who also should be coming off the bench. They did waive Ivan Rabb, so Bruno Caboclo is going to be seeing an uptick in minutes. Aside from that, there's also Tyus Jones, who, when people are injured, he should be in play, but I don't really think anybody's not going to be playing tomorrow, so he's out of the equation for me. Dylan Brooks and Grayson Allen, they alternated in preseason who started, but both of these guys have a lot of upside. The floor is a little low on them. Their price is really good, 32 and 3,600. They can go out there and get buckets. Both of these guys aren't scared to shoot the basketball. In 22 and 23 minutes, they were shooting 11 and around 8 times. So they're not scared to shoot the ball. If their shot falls, there's a lot of upside to them at this price. So these are also two guys I'd be considering in some GPPs. On the Miami side, Goran Dragic, 5,100. If he's playing starter minutes, he's someone I'd consider. Myers Leonard, Duncan Robinson, if they're starting, I really like these guys if they're starting at this price, 3,100 and 3,200 against the Memphis Grizzlies. That's just too cheap. Tyler Hero at 4,800. I'm not really too keen on him. He was one of the Heat's standout performers, probably their best standout performers, aside from Bam Adebayo, who was very, very consistent. Tyler Hero, someone that's probably going to have a long future with the Miami Heat, but I'm not really too keen on him tomorrow. Kendrick Nunn's a guy that stands out to me at 3,200. He also had a really good preseason. He shot the ball a lot when he went out there. In 18 minutes, he shot just as much as Tyler Hero. So Kendrick Nunn, someone that's less talked about and is probably going to be less owned. He's probably going to be one of my favorite cheap GPP plays. Just because of the matchup here, he should get some minutes here regardless. Jimmy Butler at 7,600. His price has finally been raised. He was around 5,600 in preseason, which was ridiculous. Bam Bam's price at 7K, I don't mind. He's still very consistent and probably going to be the most consistent fantasy performer on the Heat as the season progresses. With Dion Waiters is suspended, so Justice Winslow and Derek Jones are going to see extended run. Justice Winslow usually starts, however, and he's going to be getting some backup point guard duty because I think they're going to be limiting Goran Dragic this season in some cases. So Justice Winslow is going to see around 28 minutes. 5,800 is not a bad price for him in this matchup. Someone to consider as well. But Goran Dragic, if he's going to be starting at 5,100, I like. Kendrick Nunn's another guy I like. On to the Boston Celtics. Straight up, just Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown I really liked. Their prices is pretty fair. The matchup against the 76ers is nice. This is going to be a very competitive matchup. I don't really think the Boston Celtics win here. I think the 76ers crush them. But Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum should still have a good game. I don't like Kemba Walker's matchup with Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris and Al Horford and Embiid guarding the paint. I also don't like Gordon Hayward that much or Enes Kanter. Marcus Smart is someone that just plays very hard and someone I just have an affection for. He's a very good teammate, very good guy. He's a guy you'd want on your team. He goes out there, fights for every possession. 4,800 against the 76ers. They're going to need his tenacity, his grit here, his aggression. So I expect him to be on the court a lot tomorrow. All these guys in yellows are the younger guys that we're seeing extended run in preseason. I don't really think any of them see too much minutes here unless it's a blowout in the fourth quarter tomorrow. But Carson Edwards, someone that shot 8 3-pointers in a row in preseason. The Celtics are really fond of him, and in their ideal world, they'd get this guy minutes to see him do that again and get him to do it on a consistent basis. Tremont Water, Wanamaker, Javonte Green, all these guys are similar type players with the similar upside. I don't really think these guys again see much run unless it's blowout, and even then it'd be like the fourth quarter. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are my safe plays here. And then Marcus Smart I'll consider as well. And Robert Williams, sorry. Robert Williams is another guy I'd consider. He's coming off of a good preseason. 3,400 is too cheap for him. And, you know what? No, I'm not going to consider him. I put him in a maybe. If he's going to be starting, I consider him. Because he could be the starting center. However, if he's not starting, then I don't want to really play him. On the Philadelphia 76ers side, Embiid's in play for sure. Ben Simmons, keep an eye on the news, but I'm pretty sure he plays. He's in play. Both these guys should see around, Embiid should see around 26 to 28 minutes. Simmons should see around 30 minutes. Both these guys are in play at this price. Their matchup is pretty good. But my favorite play would be Al Horford, revenge game for him. He's coming back, 5,600, very good price for him. He should just dominate the Sixers team. And a standout performer for me on the 76ers this preseason was Matisse Thybulle, I guess. I don't know. I forgot what it was. Matisse Thybulle. I guess that's what it is. Matisse Thybulle. Man, this guy is probably Philly's one of Philly's best defenders, man. This kid's just in your face. Very good form or whatever you call it. Like, this guy doesn't let anything get past him. Ben Simmons had very kind words for him. So he's someone at this price range, 3,400. I feel like is one guy that's going to be coming off the bench for the 76ers. Probably not one of the first guys, and maybe not this early into the season, but someone definitely to keep an eye on. A sneaky GPP play, in my opinion. But yeah, my favorite plays here would be Al Horford, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris and Josh Richardson, both of these guys also in play. Philly is going to be playing their starting five a lot of minutes, with the exception of Embiid perhaps. But Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, Al Horford should be seeing a lot of minutes. But these three are my favorite plays at their price and their matchups in particular. On to the New York Knicks. So the New York Knicks, my favorite plays are Marcus Morris, who's been playing a lot of minutes in preseason. 5,100 is very, very cheap. I expect him to get a decent amount of run. And RJ Barrett, he averaged 37 minutes in preseason. Everything's going to be running around RJ Barrett. This team is centered around RJ Barrett. 5,900 is very cheap. The matchup against the Spurs is very bad. The Spurs play very slow. Popovich tends to stop anyone from really going off on the opposition. But it's the New York Knicks. They play at a very high pace. And this isn't a typical Spurs team. It's a new age Spurs team that's prone to a lot of mistakes and turnovers. And I don't think this game is a very slow game, like a typical Spurs game. I think it gets up there in a high scoring capacity. I think in particular, Greg Popovich is really going to want to shut Marcus Morris down because of what happened in the offseason. The Spurs had signed him, and then he reneged on the agreement. So there's that. At the same time, I think Marcus Morris really wants to stick it to them. And if anything, if preseason was anything to go by, he really wants the Knicks to be not the laughingstock of the league anymore. So it could be a statement game for the Knicks to start this season. I'm looking at Marcus Morris and RJ Barrett. Mitchell Robinson might be out, so if that's the case, Bobby Portis should see a little bit of uptick in minutes, and Julius Randle should see a little bit of up in usage, a little bit more minutes on the court too. On the Spurs side, Brid Forbes had a really good preseason. I think he's starting for the Spurs. So that's that. 3,900 for a starter against the New York Knicks team. It's a very good spot for him. He's not scared to shoot the basketball. He shot the most in preseason for the Spurs. He also scored the most for the Spurs in preseason. One of their top scorers in 21 minutes. He should be seeing around 26, 28 minutes. Love the price. Love the matchups. He's one of my favorite plays tomorrow. DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, both of these guys are safe plays. LaMarcus Aldridge would be more favorable to me, especially because of the Knicks' size and LaMarcus Aldridge's need to be out on the floor a little bit more and do a little bit extra. DeJounte Murray's price kind of puts me off of him, 5,600. But the matchup is here. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be a very fast-paced matchup with the Knicks here. And there's going to be a lot of rebounds, a lot of missed shots, a lot of second chance opportunities for both sides, particularly the Spurs. So some of the Spurs players here could really be in for a little uptick in performance, at least what we're used to. Jakob Poeltl is another guy I'm looking at. He should be coming off the bench, one of the first guys off the bench. Someone that's really going to be taking over for LaMarcus Aldridge in the future, and someone that's going to be playing more and more minutes as the season progresses. He's coming off of a decent preseason, and he's someone that the Spurs should integrate into their schemes more and more as the season progresses. Very great player, no nonsense, does what the team needs. Great matchup here. They're going to need his size. Derek White really hasn't been the same Derek White from last year. Last year he was one of the stand-up performers. This year so far, in the preseason at least, he was terrible. Maybe that changes with the regular season, but I'm not really looking at him tomorrow. Damari Carroll has been hit or miss, and I'm not really too fond of him. On the Washington Wizards side, Bradley Beal is of course in play. He's going to see a shit ton of usage. He's the de facto go-to guy on the Wizards. However, I'm not going to be playing that much Bradley Beal. I'd rather just pay up a little bit more for Doncic. However, they could go shot for shot here, and this matchup's going to be pretty fairly interesting. So Bradley Beal definitely is in play. Mo Wagner has had a great preseason, but I don't know how much he plays. He had a little bit of an injury concern, so keep an eye on the news for that. Thomas Bryant was one of the better plays in the preseason. 6,600 for him. Great price, great matchup. I really like Thomas Bryant. He was one of the better plays last year in DraftKings and someone that a lot of people still sleep on. So he's definitely in a spot here to outperform his price here and really hit value. He's going to be seeing around 28 minutes for sure. 6,600 is very cheap for him in my opinion. He's going to be getting the second most usage on this team, and he does a little bit of everything. So the matchup is great here. Aside from that, Admiral Schofield is someone that had a really good preseason. Davis Bertans also had a really good preseason. At this price, 3,500, someone I'd also consider as a cheap punt option. And then Jordan McRae, 3K as well, should be seeing some minutes off the bench at least until Isaiah Thomas is back. He's someone I'd also consider as well. Not scared to shoot the basketball when he does come on the court. If his shot's falling, he could easily hit value. And then Rui Hachimura, the rookie this year that they drafted. 5K is a little steep for him in my opinion. He's still going to need a couple of games under his belt before he's performing consistently to hit value. Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, KP, both are in play for me. Enough said. Their minutes are going to be increased. They had a phenomenal preseason. Luka is still the same Luka. Porzingis is still the same Porzingis, if not better. With the more minutes under their belts, their production should naturally increase. Both of them will be in play for me in this matchup against the shitty Wizards. Tim Hardaway Jr. is another guy I'm looking at. 4,200, very, very good price. But Justin Jackson is someone that got a lot of praise from the coach. He's going to see more minutes here. Someone that's going to be starting. 3,300 is very cheap for him. He could hit value. Another cheap value guy that I'll be considering tomorrow. Delon Wright is another guy that's starting, but he's yet to really do anything on the Mavericks. He's been given ample opportunity, but he has yet to perform. Jalen Brunson performed better than Delon Wright so far, so I'm not really considering Delon Wright tomorrow. Seth Curry has been cleared to play, but he's not really in play for me. Next game is OKC between the Utah Jazz. Probably one of the slower games of the night, or more boring games of the night, I should say. However, there are a couple of plays here I like. Shai Gilgeous at 6,100 is very cheap. He has a lot of usage, plays with a lot of pace. The matchup here should be good for him against the Utah Jazz. Utah is a very defensive-oriented team. They do play at a slower pace. OKC has had a lot of bad blood with them, but that was mainly because of Russell Westbrook. He's gone now. Shai Gilgeous is the new face of this team, basically. So he's someone I'm going to consider at 6,100 based on his upside. However, there are some other plays like Dennis Schroeder, $2,000 cheaper. Should also be seeing relatively the same amount of minutes as Shai Gilgeous. So Dennis Schroeder is someone I don't mind. OKC did use a 3-guard lineup in preseason a lot, with Gallinari and Steven Adams rounding off their starting 5. So Dennis Schroeder could be on the court a lot with Chris Paul and Shai Gilgeous, so he's going to have a lot of opportunity to shoot the ball as well. 4,100 is very cheap for him if he's starting, for sure. Definitely in play for me. And then Steven Adams, consistent Steven Adams. If he's going to be playing around 30 minutes, definitely in play for me. Gallinari at 7,100 is also someone I would consider, but there's some other plays I'd rather go to. On to the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, both in play. Number 1, number 2 option for this team. They do have a Mike Conley on their roster now, but 7,500 in this matchup. I'm not really fond of Mike Conley. Bojan Bogdanovic had a really bad preseason. He's yet to have a really good preseason. The last game of the preseason, he missed 7 or 8 shots. He didn't make a single shot. It was really bad. Horrible performance. Bounce back spot for him for sure. I don't think he could play much worse than he played last game. Royce O'Neal is someone that got a lot of run in the preseason. Someone that I expect to play a key role on the Utah Jazz moving forward. It's been 2 years of him on the bench now, and every year he's been getting more and more run, more and more minutes. I think this is the breakout year for him. He's a very productive player, a point-per-minute monster, and someone that could easily return value at 3,300 DraftKings dollars. So he's in play for me. Now moving on to the next game, Sacramento versus Phoenix Sun. Another one of the games I'll probably be targeting a lot. Should be a very high-scoring game in my opinion. So starting with the Sacramento Kings, Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, De'Aaron Fox. All 3 of these guys are in play for me. Relatively similarly priced. Buddy Hield would probably be my favorite play based on this price. He is more scoring dependent, but Buddy Hield is probably the guy with the most upside on this team. He's coming off of a new contract. There was a stat that he's one of the only 3 players in NBA history to shoot a certain amount of 3-pointers. Steph Curry, and I forgot who else was the other. So he was in good company. He's been a very good 3-point shooter in my opinion the last year as well. and he's just gotten progressively better. If preseason was anything to go by, Sacramento means business this year, and they're going to be playing their starters a lot, particularly Buddy Hield, Bagley, and Fox. Bagley's moved into the starting lineup now, so he's usually starting, and he's giving them another dimension to their offense. It's a very high-flying, fast-paced offense. De'Aaron Fox, we all know, is a very fast player, probably one of the fastest players with the ball in his hands. Marvin Bagley is very fast as well. Buddy Hield, not really speedy guy, but he's a quick, athletic guy, strong guy. Sacramento Kings here against the Phoenix Suns is a very, very great matchup. High total game, and I just like these three guys in general. I will be playing them in a lot of lineups tomorrow. Maybe not all together, but definitely going to have them in a lot of lineups. Bogdan Bogdanovic is another guy that's coming off the bench for the Kings, but he's someone that's very productive off the bench. Someone that I'd be looking at. If he gets hot with this shot, he can easily hit value. But that's pretty much it. Harrison Barnes, I'm not too keen on. Richaun Holmes could hit value at 3,700, but not too keen on him. It is a revenge game for him, although he already saw the Phoenix Suns in the preseason once, and he did go off against them, but I don't know about tomorrow. I'd consider him. I'd consider Richaun Holmes. Dwayne Dedmon is the starting guy, but I'm not really too fond of him. On the Sun side, DeAndre Ayton and Booker are both in play for sure. But Frank Kaminsky at 3,500 is very cheap. They're going to need his size. And he's going to get some more minutes here. He played very well in preseason. He's just very dependable. When he was on the Charlotte Hornets, he was very dependable. He often came off the bench, usually because Cody Zeller was injured and stuff. And he'd always do well. So now that he's on the Phoenix Suns, he's still trying to stake a starting spot for him or some sort of role for him. I don't think he gets a starting spot with Ayton here. But he's still trying to carve out a niche role for himself. So Kaminsky is someone that can easily get hot. 3,500 is very cheap. He's not scared to shoot the ball. He can get rebounds. He assists. So he's someone that's definitely in play for me. Kelly Oubre, 5,600, not a bad price. But I like Booker, Ayton a little bit more. Cameron Johnson, someone that got a lot of run in preseason, is actually not going to be playing tomorrow, so that kind of puts Tyler Johnson more in play. Ricky Rubio should be starting, 5,800 though. I don't really know about this price or the matchup here for Ricky Rubio. He's a hit or miss for me, Pretty Ricky. I'm really fond of the guy, but there's other guys I'd rather play tomorrow than Ricky Rubio, 5,800. Okay, next matchup is our last matchup is the Nuggets versus the Portland Trailblazers. We are very familiar with these two teams and their matchup. So, go-to guys on the Denver side for me, Paul Millsap, 4,900, too damn cheap. He should be seeing around 26 minutes. He's a very productive guy. In 26 minutes, he should be in a smash spot. Jamal Murray should be seeing around 28 to 30 minutes. 6,300 is very cheap. Great matchup for him as well. And then Jokic, of course, is in play always. 9,600, MVP candidate last year. Nothing else to say. He's going to be going up against Whiteside most likely, and if Whiteside gets into foul trouble, then he's going to be going up against Labassiere. And Jokic just has their way with these guys, man. Jokic's a pretty solid player. We all know that. So, Jokic's definitely in play. And then Mason Plumlee at 3,400. They're going to need Mason Plumlee's size and shooting against this Portland team that boasts Herzonia, Zach Collins, Labassiere, Whiteside. So they're going to need Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee is one of the first guys off the bench for them. He's consistent. He's a consistent performer. He's a hard-working player. And when Jokic needs a rest, he's one of the first guys off the bench. And they often play Jokic and Plumlee together in some allotment of minutes. Not a lot, but they're all in the court too sometimes together. So that's something I like about Plumlee as well. Very consistent guy. Someone I definitely consider at the price. Aside from that, Jeremy Grant, Malik Beasley, Michael Porter Jr., Will Barton, I'm not too fond of. Will Barton's price does seem a little enticing at 4,300. However, there's too many people that are competing for that one spot. Still not sure who really starts here. It could be Will Barton, could be Monty Morris, could be Malik Beasley. If I had to take a pick, I would say it's going to be Malik Beasley. But it's subject to change. I think Malik Beasley got into a fight too with some NFL free agents, so I don't even know if he's going to be playing. Alright, moving to the last team of the slate. CJ McCollum, 6,500 is too damn cheap. Should be playing around 30 minutes. Usually does well against the Nuggets. Definitely in play for me. Lillard, 9,100. The price is a little steep. There's other guys I'd rather go to, but it's Damian Lillard. It's a good matchup against the Nuggets. Definitely someone I'd go to. And then Zach Collins, 5,400. I love Zach Collins at 5,400. He's getting a lot of usage this year on this Portland Trailblazers team, and he's one of their better players. He's making shots. He's getting rebounds. He's fighting for the loose balls, getting them second chance opportunities. So Zach Collins is someone that's starting and doing very, very good things. And then there's Herzonia, 3,500. Definitely someone that's going to be seeing minutes off the bench. Really smashed it last game, but that's only because there were some injuries and some people had to leave the game. But Herzonia is someone that's a sneaky GPP option for me, in my honest opinion. 3,500 late game of the slate, could be one of the best cheap options. Has real upside, but who knows? They also have Kent Bazemore and Rodney Hood to give minutes to, and it could get tough here. But Mario Herzonia is someone that played all 5 preseason games, averaged 22.4, was one of the first guys off the bench, and should be one of the first guys off the bench going forward. Lots of upside with him. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. That rounds up all my favorite plays and just some preseason inside. We're at the 46-minute mark. Holy snap, that's a lot of talking. It was a big slate though, 11-game slate. Hope you guys don't mind. So now we're going to go through each position here. So before we get started, if you guys don't mind, if you liked anything I said, please hit the subscribe button and join this crew. We're going all season long. We're going to smash this season. So yeah, if you guys want to smash this season, join the crew and hit the subscribe button. Let me know your favorite stackable or favorite game of the night. Which games do you think are going to be the highest, most competitive games of the night? Personally, I think the Chicago-Charlotte game, the Phoenix-Sacramento game are going to be two of the higher, faster-paced games of the night. Anyways, my favorite plays based on the position. So right off the bat here, we're faced with a lot of options. I guess let's just start with overall. Who would I want to pay up for here? I honestly wouldn't mind Drummond here. He should see a lot of usage. Drummond does fairly well against Indiana. It's at 4 games, 36 minutes, 54 minutes. Indiana's pretty much the same team. Nothing's really changed. So Drummond's probably the first guy, one of the first go-to guys for me. Aside from that, guards here are a little tricky because there's a lot of guards that have a lot of similar upside, the go-to de facto scoring options on their teams. Let's see here. What can we go here? Ja Morant, the matchup is just what kind of puts me off Ja Morant. Same thing here with Shai Gilgeous and RJ Barrett. All these guys are against defensive-orientated teams. If I had to pick, though, Ja Morant is not that big of a deal. Satoransky's price at 5,300 is decent in my opinion. The matchup, again, is high-paced, high-flow matchup. Bogdanovich is a pretty good play. Schroeder, probably go with Schroeder. I like Schroeder. Very cheap option. And then small forward, someone that should be seeing a lot of minutes as a small forward. Ben Simmons is in play for sure. Probably the best play, most expensive play for sure. But in the small forward category, Bojan really needs to get his shit together. I'm sure he does. But he's going to be very low owned tomorrow. Like, I don't think many people are going to be picking him tomorrow. The matchup against OKC is pretty good. Gallinari is not the greatest of defenders. So there's that. Jay Crowder 4,600. I like that. Culver's a pretty good pick too. Gonna be seeing a lot of minutes. Crooks probably not. Herzonia, yeah, Herzonia could be 3,500. It's a good price for Herzonia. If he's starting, he's been seeing a lot of minutes, man. 3,200s for this kid. He's been starting and seeing a lot of minutes. Royce O'Neal's also been seeing a decent amount of minutes. But why are we dumpster diving right now? We got a lot of salary. Alright, let's just skip the positions. Let's go to shooting guard. Which one would I mind paying up for here? So again, these matchups just kind of put me off a little bit on these guys. Dinwiddie, I don't really mind, but again, there's just so many guys to pick here. It's a first look lineup, I know, but there's just so many guys. Derrick Rose, the matchup should be good. Kobe White, actually. Kobe White should be safe. He's going to shoot the ball a lot. He's going to go out there and shoot the ball a lot. I'm damn sure about that. It's a meaningless game. It's a battle of the bums. Jonathan Isaac, 6,100 against Cleveland. I like that. It's a good matchup. He should crush them. Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington's a good choice too. Zach Collins, I kind of like Zach Collins. Millsap, 4,900. If he's starting, for sure, Millsap is one of the go-to guys. He can crush it at that price. I wish Christian Wood was cheaper. There's a lot of so I have to look here. Kaminsky for sure. Plumlee's another cheap play here. In 11 games, he averaged 19 fantasy points. I mean, well, damn. Then there's Kaminsky. Kaminsky has real upside, man. He's very productive if he's getting minutes, and he should get minutes. Like, why wouldn't he get minutes? Like, what's a big deal? I could go with Bam. Bam's been very consistent. Bam should be very productive too, so we could go with Bam here. And then who do you want to stick in? Let's go with CJ McCollum. He's very cheap. And then I could go with Bradley Beal or Vucevic. Bradley Beal, Vucevic, Bradley Beal or Vucevic, or Porzingis. I kind of like Porzingis, to be honest. Let's just take Porzingis instead of him. I don't mind Aldridge, but at the same time, I feel like let's take alright. Jonathan Isaac, you're gonna have to come out, bro. Tobias Harris, I mean, I could go with Aaron Gordon. It's the same game. More upside, lower floor. Or I could go Jason Tatum against Philly. 4 games, average 39.8. Except this year, their team's a lot worse than it was last year, in all honesty. Jason Tatum, Aaron Gordon, Tobias Harris. You could go Tobias Harris. Safe guy. But then again, Tobias Harris or Jason Tatum. Let's just go with Jason Tatum for the sake of it. Alright guys, that's it for the video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I do my best to answer all the questions. If you have any lineup questions, construction questions, feel free to leave the comments down below. I will do my best to answer them. You can follow me on Twitter at Eyecee DFS. If you have any questions, you can leave them there as well. I read my tweets. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Almost 1 hour long video. If you're still here with me, type 33333 so I know you made it to the end. So then I could give you my personal mojo. Good luck. Good luck tonight, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.